Korea, the United States has granted interim bankruptcy protection for HanJin. Back in Seoul, officials scrambled to contain the potential spillover from the company's plight. Kim Jong-soo gets us up to speed on the shipping giant's predicament.
The U.S. Bankruptcy Court in Newark, New Jersey has authorized temporary protection for HanJin, just 4 days after the shipping giant filed its application. The move will prevent U.S. creditors from taking legal action against HanJin ships and other assets, while the company undergoes restructuring in Korea. But this does not mean HanJin containers will reach their destinations anytime soon, as major ports and truckers have refused to unload and transport cargo for the troubled shipper, fearing they will not be able to secure payments. As a result, over 80 HanJin ships worldwide carrying 500,000 containers are currently stranded at sea, leaving hundreds of American retailers nearly empty-handed ahead of the fast-approaching holiday season. To receive a final order on bankruptcy protection, HanJin representatives will have to return to court on Friday. Back in Korea, Seoul's Maritime Ministry has projected the company will need over 650 billion won, or $590 million, to successfully unload all of its ships and satisfy overdue financial obligations. The country's finance minister, Yoo Il-ho, in a meeting this afternoon, discussed the government's role in minimizing losses in the maritime industry and economy as a whole caused by HanJin's demise. He said he personally feels a great deal of responsibility for the situation as a whole and vowed to do everything in his power to resolve the trading crisis. Under current plans, the Trade Ministry and related agencies will focus on finding alternative service providers for companies that had originally planned to use HanJin, as well as add more ships to speed up the transportation of goods. Kim Jong-soo, Arirang News.
Now for some tech news, LG is set to introduce its new premium smartphone, looked to as a beacon of hope for its struggling handset sector. Unveiled in Seoul and San Francisco, the V20 is the first smartphone to run on Google's latest Android mobile operating system, called Nougat, and adopt Google's new search app in-apps. It's also featuring dual-lens rear cameras and high-end audio functions. LG sales numbers were disappointing to say the least, with its G5 smartphone receiving lukewarm response earlier this year. Korea's number 2 electronics firm posted its 5th consecutive quarterly operating loss in the second quarter. They're hoping to see a turnaround later this month when the V20 hits stores. Parts of Korea's metropolitan area, including the capital Seoul and the surrounding Gyeonggi-do province, saw high levels of fine and ultra-fine dust today, although the levels came back to normal throughout the day. Environment experts forecast this pattern to continue for a few days. Lee Ji-won reports.
Temperatures drop to the dew point Tuesday night in Korea as cooler weather starts to settle in. But on the downside, parts of the nation saw high levels of potentially harmful fine dust in the air. Wednesday morning, Seoul and the surrounding Gyeonggi-do province saw fine dust levels over 80 micrograms per cubic meter, and the extremely unhealthy ultra-fine dust around 50 micrograms, twice the usual amount. On its 5-tier air quality rating system, the Environment Ministry said that the western port city of Incheon saw very bad levels of fine dust. While Seoul and Gyeonggi-do province saw bad levels, the first time the capitals reached that level in 3 months. More dust than usual has blown over from China, which has seen dry conditions prevailing. Although the levels of fine and ultra-fine dust in Korea returned to normal during the course of Wednesday, the Environment Ministry expects this pattern to continue for the next few days.
Because of the stable air, fine dust from outside of the country lingers in the morning. As the day progresses, some is blown away and dispersed, lowering the dust levels we measure.
These fine and ultrafine particles can penetrate deeply into the lungs and the bloodstream, contributing to respiratory diseases and even heart disease and stroke. Experts advise people to wear dust masks and refrain from going out if possible. Lee Ji-won, Arirang News.
That's our newscast for this hour. As always, thank you for staying with us.